All right, all right. Um, all right, I'm just going to give this a second and make sure where everything is streaming and everything is working here. Just checking with YouTube, making sure the data is coming in. I did a live stream yesterday and I had some issues there, so my hope here, hi everyone, my hope here is that tonight will be issue free. So it's been a long time since I had this chance to do a live stream. I think the last one of these was, I think maybe February 17th. So I have not worked on the shot since then, which is crazy to me. Let me move this window a little bit. My goal here was to keep sort of working on this almost every night or every other night, so that I could in live stream the process. Well, life gets in the way, stuff happens, so we're going to just jump into where I left off. And the focus tonight, animation-wise, my goal is for this hand here. My goal is to finish animating this hand, or at least finish animating the poses for that hand, I should say. So what this phase is now of the animation is I am doing what's called blocking. And so in a blocking phase, I'm going through and I'm just setting like the key poses for this pose, and this pose, and then that pose, and that is allowing me, hold on, let me just turn off, I think this is set to buzz, and I don't want that. To set different poses, but the character won't like move between them. So I'm in the step tangent mode, which I'll show you here in the graph editor, so people can see what I'm actually talking about. Waiting for the computer here. Sorry. All right. So if I bring up the controls for his hand here, say I select his wrist, and I go to this graph editor. So this shows all the positions of the all the keyframes, so all the geometry. So this here relates to the rotate of on the x-axis of this hand. So if I move this, let's move my x. Where is it? There's x. If I move x, why is it not moving? Oh, because I'm on the wrong frame. Ha 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 ha. Because I'm an idiot. All right, let's go back over here. Sorry. Here's where we are. So if I move this hand, you will see that let's go to my rotate X. Great, here we go. So if I move the hand on the X-axis, you'll see that this point moves in space. All right, hopefully that's clear. Let's go back to where we were. So, and then between frame 1 and frame 20, you can see it's just a flat line, and then it pops into space here. So nothing, doesn't move, and then it just clicks right into the next position. So nothing's happening. So I clicked the timeline, and then on frame 20, it jumps into the next position here. Hopefully you can see all this. Not sure how much of this translates to the live stream. Hopefully it doesn't get compressed down into just being, you can't see what I'm talking about. Anyway, so what I did in the last few bits of the shot, sorry, let's go back here. Man, the computer is really not cooperating tonight. Very slow, very slow. Is I have my frame 1, I have this pose, this for this character here we're talking about. This is character's name Jules, that's the name of the rig. This is the window I'm working in to do poses. This is this window over here is the what the camera sees. Turn off There we go. That's what the camera's seeing. It's like our render view. And you can see that what I've been working through is he's got all his other poses. We've been doing those main poses to tell the story of that character. And I now am doing a hand pass. So this character says his line here. This hand, if we go back to so this, I'm using what's called the GUI picker, which you can see, make that disappear and come back. Look, there it is, that thing. So this GUI picker is on a second monitor. What that allows me to do is, oh hey, we have someone watching. Hi. What the GUI picker allows me to do is select the different joint controls so that I can move the arms around, or the spine, or the face, or the mouth, or any of those parts. All right, so let's do a little animation. So at any point, like if anyone has a question here, please feel free to drop it into, just say something, and then I'll try to give you an answer. My windows are a little crowded here with the streaming windows and with the tools for the that I use for the live stream software. So if I'm slow to respond, my apologies. I'm trying to shrink everything down as best I can so I can sort of fit it all in here. But all right, great, cool. All right, so I'm going to focus on this hand now. I'm just going to jump into it. And like I said, if you're an animation student, or you want to go to study animation, any of that stuff, or you're just a curious individual, just let me know and I'll try to answer the question. So my hope here, when I started these live streams, was just to, I just want to do some animation for fun. And but I have some information I can share, and hey, I'm going to do it anyways. Might as well live stream it, and talk to people. So from the graph editor, you'll see here I have a frame, but I have, these are the frames here. Here there's a frame. Here there's a frame. You notice that the hand is not really moving much between this frame and this frame. So right now the hands are animated using inverse kinematics, or IK, and I previously posed them in FK, or forward kinematics. So I'm now changing that. The difference between FK and IK is that in IK, your hands essentially are acting like they're a puppet. So what happens is your hands, let's say they're in the air like this, and you can move me around, but the hands basically stay where they are, and they're like puppet strings, right? In FK, the hands are here, but when you move me, everything moves together. Well, this is really great sometimes, but other times you want to move the body, but you need the hands to sort of stay where they are. Sometimes it just depends on the type of shot you're doing. I'm working in a program called Maya, and that's the software that I'm using. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Okay, so all right. Where was I? So it's sort of weird for me to be animating this again, because like I said, I haven't worked on this shot for a month now, and I'm really sort of feel like I'm losing my mind. So first thing I want to do is this pose here is the last one that's still on forward kinematics, and I'm going to change it now to inverse kinematics, and you're going to see what happens when I do that. The hand goes way out, because it's no longer being controlled by the joints of the body pulling it around. It's being controlled. Oh, I got to change my camera angle. I'm an idiot, sorry. There's too many things going on. Okay. All right, let's try this again. So here's his hand. It's in this pose, right? And when I go here, and I now have I have a control for this hand where I would change this. When I change this to inverse kinematics, which is like the hand being controlled on puppet strings, you'll see that it now pops way out into space, and it just floats out there. And this is just the nature of changing it from one tool to the other. I'm going to hide my other character so that she's not in the way. And I can hide the table too if I wanted. So you can see like these hands I've posed for the most part into main poses, but I have to do this arm still. All right, so all right. So just to recap, I want to see where I was before. There's usually software that allow you to toggle between the two types of ways of controlling these joints. But since I have so few poses in here, and none of them are like set in stone, it's probably easier for me to just create an actual pose. So in this window here, this is going to be like, I'm looking for this sort of similar silhouette when I pose the arm in IK. I'm going to start moving that around. You'll see that it does little weird things. So there's controls to twist the arm. And then I'll need to bring his wrist around because it looks all crazy. And you can see how this sort of can quickly get these poses in here. So I'm just going to toggle between the old pose here, and now what is my new pose? So we're not way off, and like I said, the old pose wasn't exactly something that I'd set in stone. So I'm going to move this back a little bit just because it's sort of aggressively forward. I want him to sort of feel like he's casually talking here. And when I select on the GUI picker, I think what you see is some of the buttons light up. So like as I roll over them now, you might see them light up. GUI picker looks like this, so I would just click on the different parts to control it. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that. I'm going to hide this fake GUI picker, and I'm just going to give you guys the real thing so you can see what I'm doing. Right? Why not? Makes sense, right? All right. So, all right. So I'm going to set a keyframe here. So if the joint selected, I could just right-click and I could set the key through here. I could convert to key, or I can just hit the S button on the keyboard and that'll key it. There's a little checkbox down here that auto keyframes for you as needed. Okay. All right, so toggle between these two types of poses before. And you can actually blend between the two types of posing if you want. There's benefits to that, but I won't be doing that here. Just his shoulder. So let's look at what's happening with this arm here, because it's probably not very realistic right now. And I have shot some video reference footage for this, which is I'm also using, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about that too. So I want to make sure that when like these poses are changing, that it feels like the spine is driving the shoulder, and that the shoulder is driving the elbow, and the elbow is driving the wrist, and so forth. So you should feel like it's all sort of interconnected. And ultimately, everything's sort of driven by the hips, which I went through in some of the earlier live streams. And you'll see, like even here, like even though he's sitting, there's still a small little rotation. His hips are rotating in to help reverse his spine, to drive the body. Okay. Now this is sort of a big jump in pose, so we'll need a breakdown pose in here for sure, as well as like some anticipation poses, and I'll talk about all that when we get to that phase. Okay, 1 second here. Just gonna toggle some software so I can see, make sure that everything is cool with the live stream, because like I said last time I did this, it crashed, and that was really a bummer. Although the video still came out okay. Yeah. All right. So now, all right. I want to get a really nice hand pose here, because this will be a really big. So when this character's talking, he sort of he let's see if I can get myself on the main screen. So he does this sort of hand gesture. So I want it to be kind of a little bit aloof, you know, and I don't want, but that hand's going to be a big element of that shot. Okay. How's the audio? How's the audio? That's my big question. Do I seem in sync? Because sometimes the audio was really out of sync on one of the others. I've tried to fix that though. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go to a different view here. Hopefully we don't crash. Probably should have saved. All right, so you can see that in this window at the bottom here, oh, let me move my face here. You can see down here, this is some reference footage that I shot. All right, so I'm going to now, of course, use that reference footage to help me make sure that the ideas of what is happening played to some sort of sense of realism in a performance. You know, what was I thinking at the time? What sort of happens naturally? I definitely tend to overact. So when I look at my reference, it's like, all right, what are the key elements, and then where can I just pull back and just hit some main poses or something, you know? All right, so this wrist. Let's look at some of these other poses here in the. Just looking at some of the reference footage. Okay. See, this is where it's great, where it's like you look at the reference and you're like, oh, that's sort of different than what I thought I was going to do here, which is great. Oh, in the wrong window, that's why. So I'm going to reset this to be my render view. Set this to be my sort of perspective view. All right. Thank you for the info on the audio coming through nice and perfect. All right. So I'm now going to sort of look at sort of what I can do to pose this hand and the fingers. This elbow needs a lot of. It just feels really off to me. Swing that out a bit, maybe. And then the wrist itself is going to come in. sort of like right now I'm looking at like the back of the hand, this sort of flat. Where am I? This sort of flat part of the hand, how it's hitting here versus in the reference footage, and I'm trying to get that sort of similar, not copying, just sort of being inspired by, I guess one hopes to say. And then I'm going to now try to pose this hand itself. This is, you know, there's definitely elements of trial and error, especially for me, and it's today, and you haven't worked on this shot in a month, and you're trying to go like, what was I doing? My goal was initially to finish this shot in February. That clearly did not happen. I'm a little bit bummed about that. I was hoping to try to do one shot a month or close to it, and I feel like I'm just at the very starting phases of this. You know, I knew it was sort of an ambitious goal when I set it, but you know, just trying to do other stuff, you know, and you know, I work full time, and I'm a parent, so that takes a lot of energy. All right, so. So. And the fingers on this character are really long. You don't look it until you actually start to pose them, and you start going like, man, this looks like he's got a big claw. But they definitely are long. Jump into this a little bigger so you can sort of see maybe a bit better. So let's see. Do you pronounce your name Sorav? Is that how you pronounce it? Is that close? I'm gonna just take a stab at it. I'm just gonna guess, but hopefully that was correct. I think it's great that you're watching. So thank you. Just want to say thank you, and hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Want to be respectful of your name. Alright. Sort of interesting that I get to sort of meet different people, and it's been fun to do these. Met some animation students that want to do animation. So yeah. Now, one of the things I always try to think about is like where, especially like here where the thumb is behind the hand, like what's this hand silhouette look like? And you know, like is this hand reading like a hand, or is it suddenly starting to look like a ground up piece of meat? Sometimes they look really ugly for a while, and then you sort of hit a nice pose. And that's just like I was saying, like this character's got really long, thin fingers, and you need to sort of like figure out like this pose looks horrible, you know. So you have to work a little bit with the camera angle to find something that feels natural. And the thumb in the background is always a big question for me. Like you want to make sure that it's not crowding the space and making it difficult to see what's going on. You know, you think a lot about like sort of what's the silhouette. Like if it was just if the image was just black and white, there was no gray values. It was just like a true silhouette, like a piece of cutout paper, you know, with a flashlight behind it or something. Like how would it read? And that's a sort of standard. That's why Mickey Mouse wears where is he? That's why Mickey Mouse wears a glove, right? Because if he has black, his hands were black, right? And he put them in front of his body, like here, you wouldn't. It would just be a black hand over a black body, and you wouldn't be able to see. So just like, you know, I have a different. My skin tone is contrasts my shirt. That's why they give Mickey gloves, and a lot of cartoons, in that original era of cartoons have. Oh, it's close on the name. That's why they a lot of those early cartoons have gloves like that. Um, and even when you watch stuff like a Pixar movie, you might look to see, you know, like, oh, what have they done with the characters' outfits and costumes to make sure that they always sort of read, you know. In 3D, it's a little bit more complicated because you're dealing with like lighting, and does the lighting make sense in a 3D space as well? Um, okay. So thinking about this hand as it goes through other poses, sort of how we'll play. All right. I'm going to try the name again. Oh, what is my broadband speed? I have no idea. I mean, I could check, but probably now is not the right time to run a test to see what it is. Um, yeah, it's decent though. Um, you know, I'm in a big city, so um, and I think we upgraded our speed to try and have faster downloads and uploads and stuff. Uh, so Shurov, is that Shurov? ROV. So I'm gonna go with Shurav. Um, I hope I'm getting it close. All right. And I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I Shurav, you also played sitar, is that correct? I think that's maybe how you found my channel initially. Um, if not, maybe I'm confusing you with someone else, but thank you for watching, and I see there's someone else watching too, so hi to whoever that person is. Hello, mystery person. Okay, so I gotta try to work though. Okay, sorry. So you can see here, this is like just a before frame and now sort of an after. So you can see sort of the changes that we made to just this pose, hopefully making it feel a little bit more natural. So I'm going to move these frames now. So I'm going to select the now the true test is to see if I'm going to delete this like duplicate frame, and sometimes things go crazy. All right, I think we're good. All right, yes, yes. Great, no craziness. Okay. All right, so how long have I been talking here? Only about half an hour. All right. Okay. Great. So I'm going to, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn on the audio here. I'm going to switch this view to be, switch this view to be this here. This render camera is going to be the main camera to watch. Turn on my other character here. I'm going to save before I forget. Always save. And sometimes save a version so that, like, if you liked what you did and you're going to now mess with it, you don't lose everything you just did. All right, so let's see. See if this audio is up, if you can hear it. Okay, so I'm not sure how well this is going to play. Let me see if I can reduce my body geometry to be like a lower res. Body is already on, we can set it to proxy. It's not great. Maybe I'll leave him on it's just his head. Put him on low. Let me see about selecting her. And see if I can just adjust. Why is it not working for me? Let me put her in proxy, maybe. Let's see, where's her shot? It's somewhere in here. Oh, you don't see any of the head, though. Yeah, all right. Well, I'm going to try this, play this back so that you can sort of see how this shot's coming together for the poses and hear the audio. So I'll recap just because I'm not sure how well it'll come through. It may stutter on playback and you might not be able to hear the audio that well because you're hearing the audio through this camera played off the computer speakers. But this is from, the audio comes from the movie Ghostbusters, the 2016 version. Our main character, Jules here, will say, did the actor thing. And then she says, she sort of interrupts him, and then she says, why no glass? You know, she makes a little hand gesture. And then he says, they kept getting dirty, so it took them out. So that's basically the dialogue there. So I've put glasses on. I haven't actually seen the Ghostbusters from 2016. So I sort of tried to figure out what I thought the scene was about. And I thought, it's sort of like two people on a blind date, right? Trying to get to know one another. So we're at a table, talking, getting to say hello. And so you'll see sort of how these poses are starting to play. And you can hear with the audio and see how this comes along. I'm going to go play it, see maybe once here on this window, just to maybe let the audio load. And so you can see his different poses here. This is her reaction shot. And then this is his sort of response to that. And this is great, actually, this end pose. You can see like where his hand falls in relationship to her face. We were talking about sort of silhouettes before. It's like she wasn't in the shot. I had turned her off. So now that I turned around, it's like, this feels really close. It feels, even though he's not touching her, it feels like he's about ready to like hit her by mistake. So maybe I will move that hand in a little bit. So first things first is I'm going to actually select his shoulder. Pull that back. Then I'm going to move his... Oops, my mistake. I'm working on the wrong keyframe. Always select the right keyframe. Okay, so I'm going to do his shoulder again. Back and up. And now I'll move his hand back. Maybe a little out. Actually, man might work better. And then I'm going to swing this elbow under a little. I want to make sure that it's sort of living in a space where it has its own room for you, the viewer, to sort of see what's happening. Not being too crowded. So let me go in and I'll play it with the audio. And, oops, I want those, sorry. And yeah, let's see how this, you can maybe get a sense here. I was closer on the pronunciation before. All right. So let's see, I'll turn this up. Fingers crossed. You can hear it. And it doesn't stutter too much. Here we go.
Do the actor thing. Work for...
Just real quick. Can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah. They just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. I don't have to clean them anymore.
I'll play it again. So go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning. Come on. There we go.
Do the actor thing. Work for...
Just real quick. Can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah. They just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. I don't have to clean them anymore.
All right, and one more time. So like I said, these are just sort of key poses. These are sort of the main building blocks of what will happen. And it's, I think, very tempting as an animator to go in and like have him like hit all these bunch of different poses. But then when you go to like do what's called the spline pass, or like do all the in-betweens, if he's going like, you know, oh yeah, I took them out, I just said I didn't want to clean them anymore, it's like then he's like moving like crazy. Instead, it's like, if it's like, oh yeah, I took them out, didn't want to clean them anymore, you have like one pose and you can like work that, and you can like get all the finesse in there, like, you know, all the tiny subtle things. You can work his face, what is his eyebrows doing, and his hands and his fingers and the weight of everything, and have this sort of, whereas if you're doing all these poses, you're going to spend so much time on all this, it's just going to be a mess. And he's not going to feel like he's real. He's going to feel like a bad cartoon. He's going to feel badly animated. So, and I'll play this one more time just so we can see it. Okay, so.
Did the actor thing work
Just a
for?
minute. Just real quick. Can I ask why no glass?
Oh, yeah. They just kept getting dirty, so I took them out. I don't have to clean them anymore.
Okay, so hopefully that was sort of helpful in sort of seeing sort of like what the what sort of is happening with this shot in terms of the key poses. I've been doing this. Been about 40 minutes tonight, so I think maybe I kind of want to keep going, but I'm worried that I won't hit a good stopping point. Yeah. Yeah. So to your comment, yeah. The next phase is to do the transitions between all those poses, and the next thing would be breakdown poses. So if I look at him, mute this so we don't hear the audio. If I look at him here, like, okay, these are these two poses, right? So what's the middle pose between this and, what are he has to do, what's his anticipation to that, before he raises his hand up, before the hand comes up. If I raise my hand, before I raise it, I'm probably going down first, right? I'm not like a robot just goes up, you know. You have some sort of anticipation before you move it, and with animation, that's usually a big part of what makes it feel sort of real, All right, so I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like I should probably call it a night. Couple reasons. One, I should probably think about what I'm going to do next, and how I want to structure my next live stream. But two, I should probably practice my instrument tonight, and because I should do that every day, and that's super important. But I'm really excited. I don't want to stop. Um, yeah, I'm really happy just in terms of poses. I really like some of her facial expressions here. I just felt like I really there's an earlier live stream, but I spent a lot of time trying to get this sort of pained look in her eyes, All right, so I think that's going to be it for tonight. So thank you everyone hello. Thank you everyone who's been watching, and the comments, and it's totally, I really love that the internet and YouTube and all this stuff makes the world such a small place, and people are just checking out like stuff I'm doing, and so I really think that's great. So all right, so until next time, maybe tomorrow, and if you like this video, click a like button. That you can subscribe if you are new, and if you really want to support what I'm doing, you can always visit me on Patreon. There should be a link in the description. And yeah, so I think that's it for now. Thank you so much. All right. Bye-bye.